The story for The Last of Us is set 20 years after a global infection that wiped out most of civilization. Now the story follows one survivor, Joel, a middle-aged smuggler who, with his partner Tess, is out to retrieve his latest shipment of guns from the man who stole them. They soon find out that the guns were sold to the leader of a resistance group called the Fireflies, and if Joel and Tess want them back, they actually have to go and deliver a package somewhere because they're smugglers. They can do that. They're good at that. Now what they weren't counting on is that the package is not a package. It is a 14-year-old girl named Ellie who is very important. I won't say why, but she is very important. She must be brought to a different Firefly base without being injured. This of course means Joel, Ellie, and Tess will have to go through some really seriously tough terrain with some real bad enemies and limited supplies. You have the infected people, you have bandits, you have clickers, which are infected people to the max, limited supplies, the terrain itself. They have to go through a lot just to get this girl to safety and get their guns back. To say the story in The Last of Us is great is doing it a huge injustice, because the story here is absolutely phenomenal. The characters are some of the most likable and complex in a video game to date. Joel is an amazing character because he is troubled. He has a troubled past, as you see in the beginning of the game, and you really do like him straight off the bat, even though he has to make some really tough decisions throughout the game. You like him. He's grizzled. He is tough. He is Troy Baker. You have to like him. And of course Ellie, who is the star of the show. Straight out the bat, you love this character. She curses, she makes jokes, she lightens up the mood all the time. She's just a lovable character straight off the bat, and she just gets even more lovable throughout the 15-hour game. But the best part is that all these characters, Joel, Tess, Ellie, all the side characters, all have great chemistry when they're all on screen talking to one another, and they're all performed wonderfully. I'm just going to tell you straight up, the acting here is phenomenal all the way throughout. The writing is top-notch here. There's so many just great set pieces, a lot of emotional peaks in this where you just go, oh man, you're getting me, really. I mean, this is not a fun game story-wise. I mean, it's a damn good one, but it's not like, hey, Uncharted, oh look all this stuff. Nope, this ain't Uncharted, baby. This ain't Jack, baby. This is The Last of Us. They have made something truly special here. The story is absolutely, I keep saying this, but it is phenomenal. The story here, amazing. And now let's talk about the sound, which, like I said, the acting here is just fantastic. And yes, I said acting. I didn't say voice acting. This is acting. The actors both mocapped and voiced their characters, and they did an amazing job with both. Like I said before, Troy Baker plays Joel, and he does such a good job of making this character feel broken inside without him just like coming out of nowhere and just start crying just to represent how broken he is. No, he's a tough character on the outside, but on the inside, he is a broken man, and I love how Troy Baker plays this character. It's probably one of his best roles to date, and that's saying a lot, seeing that he is an amazing actor. Ashley Johnson is amazing as Ellie, but again, she doesn't show herself as a truly dramatic actress until much later on in the game, and when it gets to that point, it's amazing. She is truly phenomenal in this game, and the rest of the voice acting is just as superb, even though some of the side characters do disappear way too quickly at times, which I found very odd, especially since the performances were so good. So anyway, that's the acting. It is spectacular. Now the sound design is just as good. The gameplay has that sense of realism to the guns and the environment itself, and that is thanks to the sound design. There's also the sense of dread that comes in at moments that I only got from this game. The soundtrack is very quiet and guitar centric, but still hugely memorable, and comes in at the right opportunities. So overall, do I need to say what I think of the sound? It is amazing. Now the graphics for The Last of Us. Let me just say this, the next generation is here, baby, because this game could easily pass as a PS4 game. The amount of detail that went into making this world and its characters look, feel, and act real is just mind-blowing. The environment is post-apocalyptic, but in that enslaved Odyssey to the West way, where the environment is covered in beautiful green foliage. There is tons of variety put into what is placed in the environments, like picture frames on a table or random debris placed on the ground. Most games you'll see the same exact thing over and over again, but not in this game. They went out of their way to make the environment and what's in the environment always changing and always interesting, and just makes you want to explore every little part of this game. The characters are probably the most realistic we have seen in a game yet. The way they move and the way they look seems perfect for this environment. No character has a perfect clean face or can hang off a ledge like Nathan Drake. This is a gritty world that takes itself seriously, so the character models are roughed up and covered in dirt and just look like it belongs in the environment. During gameplay, the action runs smooth and never drops a frame, even though it did freeze once for me, which is kind of a shame. Effects like explosions, lighting, and blood splattering onto walls are just little things that were made a priority to look good. This is just an amazing looking game from top to bottom. Everything looks fantastic, and the character models again are some of the most realistic out there, especially the animations with the faces and the way they move and whatnot. I cannot tell you enough about how amazing this game looks. So let me just say it looks amazing. There you go. That's the graphics. But now let us talk about the gameplay for The Last of Us, which it is a third-person action shooter, but it is also and majorly a stealth game. There will be plenty of dangerous situations that both Joel and Ellie will encounter, whether it be infected or human. So having the ability to either sneak past enemies or take them out quietly without alerting others is very much needed, especially since you have a limited amount of ammo and supplies that aren't too easy to replenish. And luckily for us, the stealth is perfect in this game. You simply crouch behind cover and move slowly so the enemy doesn't hear you, but it works because there is no sticky cover system at all. And there are plenty of stealth games that use a cover system that's sticky and it's really cumbersome. You try to get out and you get discovered, you have to shoot your way out of there or something. Here, it's not. You just move out, move in whenever you want. You can go to action, go straight back to stealth. It's really smooth, very responsive. The mechanics are great, and the artificial intelligence for the enemies during stealth is great because the enemies won't just forget they saw you if they don't see you anymore like many stealth games. No, they will tell their friends to be on the lookout, and they sometimes will actually aggressively search for you, like run around and like yell out commands and stuff. Having smart enemies for stealth increases the tension so much because you really do want to keep with stealth. You don't want to waste your ammo. You want to waste it when you have to, not when you don't need to. And if you get found out, guess what? You'll have to because you'll die if you don't. So being sneaky is both fun and rewarding, but so is getting into a gun battle because of how realistic the shootouts look and feel. Now, like I said, you don't want to get into a shootout because you don't want to waste your ammo, but when you do get into one, it's not a displeasurable time at all because they did a damn good job of just making the guns feel very weighty, very real. When you shoot an enemy, they actually wobble back like if they actually got shot. If you shoot them in the head, they just die and pounce to the ground. If you shoot them in the leg, they just start wobbling around, and I love that. They make it feel so realistic when you're shooting at enemies. And once again, the AI is perfect here because you have a bunch of enemies and it's just you and Ellie. And Ellie doesn't really do much for most of the game, so it's pretty much just you with guns. And there's a bunch of enemies and they won't just sit there and wait for you to just shoot them in the face. No, they will actually try to flank you and throw grenades to get you out of cover so they can shoot you. And they will do any tactic that you would probably do to get you killed. And again, like the stealth, the cover system here is perfect because you can freely get out of it whenever you want. You don't need to roll out or something like any other cover system. You just run to a different piece of cover or run to the enemy, use a melee weapon and beat them to death with it, which by the way, the melee is very visceral in here too, which I love. And it is just so much fun just to have a pack of enemies and fight them or use stealth, either one, or use a mixture of it and then go into the next one. And now you have infected to deal with, which is a completely different experience from the human enemies. The infected, of course, don't have guns, so that's a part of your advantage. But what's not is that the infected don't think like humans. They don't care about their lives. They will run up and try to kill you. So you really do need to use stealth here because even if you have plenty of ammo, you will get over encumbered with just enemies and they will just whoop your ass and put you to the ground. And they will choke slam you. They will rock bottom you. They will stone cold stunner you. You'll be done. And worst of all is the clickers. The clickers are pretty much the advanced version of the infected. They cannot see, which is a good thing. That's another advantage. But if they hear anything, they will run to that position, so you really do have to use stealth. And if they catch you, you're automatically dead, unless you have a shiv, which is an item you can craft in the game, which I'll talk about the crafting in a second. But if a clicker gets on you, you are dead, and that is terrifying when you see a clicker, because you know, oh man, if he gets me, I'm dead. I don't have any shivs, don't have enough material to make one, I'm screwed. I have to use stealth. I have to use it. So the gameplay is very tense, very fun, very frightening at times. It just has all these emotions just for the gameplay itself. Not the story or the voice acting or whatnot, just the gameplay. You will feel all these emotions, and I love it, I really do. And all that stuff is amazing. My favorite part about this game is the exploration. This game is linear, but it does not feel like it, because there'll be times where it opens up, you can go explore all these little abandoned stores or houses or rooms, and you can go explore, get like items, get materials so you can craft things, or you can go and find collectibles in the environment, which actually opened up the story even more. And there are a ton of collectibles in this game. I collected over 100 of them by the end of the game. And just being able to look through the drawer of a desk or a kitchen counter and look for supplies just makes me feel like I'm in the apocalypse, like I'm scrounging for supplies. I'm scrounging for 2 bullets or 3 bullets or 1 bullet, just anything so I can survive the next encounter. So of course all these materials you'll find in the environment are used to, of course, make stuff in the crafting section. You can make med kits, shivs, grenades, just a bunch of stuff. But also, besides the crafting, you can also upgrade Joel's weapons. You can actually upgrade it by going to a upgrade desk, and you can even upgrade Joel himself by getting these things called stamina pills. And if you get enough of them, you can actually use them to upgrade Joel's health or upgrade Joel's weapon sway, which means if he swings his weapon, how loud will it be, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of upgrade options, a lot of crafting options, a lot of different items you can use during gameplay, like the grenades and some smoke grenades and stuff. So you can use a lot of this stuff to your advantage, and I love it. So single player wise, this is an amazing experience. The story is just so freaking good in this. You are so wrapped up in these characters, you really want to see what's going to happen next, and sometimes you'll be a little sad what happens next. The single player campaign is amazing. Gameplay, graphics, sound, everything wise, it's just so good. But this long ass review isn't done yet, because you also have multiplayer, which I will admit I didn't play too much of, but I have to say it is a very innovative way to make a multiplayer. Naughty Dog took the gameplay of the single player and put it straight into a multiplayer experience, and it feels fantastic. But what I really love is that Naughty Dog really tried to make the multiplayer feel like its own survival experience, because you are forced to pick a faction, either the Hunters or the Fireflies, and whatever one you pick, you are forced to stay with until your group of survivors die. Now, when I say die, I mean your clan as a whole, because when you win matches or you kill enemies, you get supplies, and when you use these supplies, you actually can gain more clan members, and your clan gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you don't win more matches and you don't kill more people, then it'll start, dwindling down, and if it goes too low, then everybody's gonna die because there's not too many people, and you suck as a clan. Sorry. And the gameplay for the multiplayer, there's 2 modes. It's pretty much either team deathmatch or team deathmatch, except there's no respawns at all. And both of them are really, really fun, and the gameplay itself is exactly how it is in the single player. Like I said, it's just a really unique way to make the multiplayer, and it's a lot of fun because it just increases the value of the game, because the gunplay and the stealth and all that is just so good that actually playing against other players adds even more difficulty, because they're smart. They know how to play way more than an AI controlled player does. So it's just so much fun. This game as a whole is just enjoyable all the way throughout. The story is just so intense and emotion filled, and you just want to see what's going to happen next. Single player wise, it's long, has a lot of stuff for you to explore. This is just an amazing game. The Last of Us is the game you want to get for your PS3 before, of course, the PS4 comes out. If you don't have a PS3 yet and you're holding out for a PS4, get a PS3 just for this game, because this is easily the best exclusive Sony has to offer, and it's good. It is good. So go get it now. Just go. Rush out now. If you can't find a copy, that's your fault. You should have pre-ordered it and got it when it first came out. But still, try to get it whenever you can because it is one of the best games of all time. I would say it's tied with BioShock Infinite, probably my favorite game of all time. So yeah, it's that good to me at least because BioShock was just something special to me. So yeah, this is just as good as BioShock Infinite. Go get it right now. But go get BioShock Infinite and this. Go play both of them. I don't do it. Just do it. Amazing game. Go get it right now. 10 out of 10. Perfect score. Sorry for the long review, but I had to make it long because this is a game that I just needed to talk about. So there you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
After all we've been through, everything that I've done, it can't be for nothing.